Welcome to the Predictive Playbook, a special Saturday, I guess almost afternoon edition now that I think about it, but it's about almost noon here on the East Coast. I'm with my good friend Ira Silver. He can be found at Ira Silver Magic on Twitter, and I encourage you to start following him because even though I recommend not doing parlays, this guy knows how to do them. He knows how to do them smart. He does it with a little bit more than pizza money once in a while, but not crazy over the top, nut job type of stuff. And I know he had a pretty good night again last night. So I want to welcome Ira to the show and let him tell you how he did last night.
Yeah.
How's it going, Ira?
Hey, John. Thanks for having me on again. Yeah, it was a fun night. We gave out yesterday on the show. We gave out the Ducks at plus 165. That cashed in easy fashion. We gave out over 5.5 in the Sharks Coyotes game. We gave out the Jets plus 105, and we gave out the Sharks minus 110. So we went 3-1 with two dogs, one basically minus 110 loser and a minus 115 over 5.5. So it was a pretty fun night, very profitable from a betting standpoint, especially with those dogs mixed in there. So that Ducks game really was a phenomenal way to start the night at plus 165.
That is awesome. That is really, really good. It's like I think 9 of the last 11 days now, if I'm counting right for you, showing a profit. It's some great run. And when this guy gets hot, it's sick. It's sicker than sick.
Yeah,
there's no word for it.
The reason it's sick when I get hot is because I do like to mix in 20% of a unit on a money line parlay with my picks, right? So if I do get hot, not only am I winning, 4 or 5 units on the night, but I'm now crushing it with the parlays mixed in there. So I like to do that from time to time, especially when I'm feeling myself. It's been fantastic. It's 9 out of 11 or 10 out of the last 11, something crazy, insane.
That's fantastic. So as we always say, on to today now.
Yep, you're only as good as your last at bat, right?
That's I coached a ton of baseball in my life, and that is so true. But I used to say after a kid struck out that, especially when they were pissed, I would say, you know what, you're that much closer to your next home run. And sometimes they would give me a glare, like what the hell are you saying? I just struck out, And other times they would just kind of nod their head, and that's kind of how you have to take it. You just roll, one day to the next, and it is a grinding profession, as you know. But today the grind is going to have a little bit more excitement with these college basketball games that are coming on, starting at 2:40, is it, I think, with Loyola.
Yep.
And Oregon State. And I think everybody in the brother knows that I like Loyola quite a bit. In fact, I have a free pick right up over at sportsmemo.com. You just go over there and click on my profile page, and you'll see a 3%er there. And it's all free. So I think Loyola, if you told me later this afternoon around 5:00 that they had won by 21 points, I probably would have no reaction. Now, if you told me that Oregon State won by 21 points, I probably would pass out and collapse to the floor because that would be really a stunning type of victory. Oregon State had a nice run late in the season. Even bad teams can get hot. And not saying they're a bad team, but they're not in Loyola's playground, so to speak. And as I said with my friends Rob Vino and Tony Finn on the show last night, where they gave their picks on a lot of the games, I said you don't bet against God. You just don't. And Sister Jean is the most admirable fan I think I've ever had the privilege to see on TV. I mean, she's hysterical.
Well, I'm glad you're on Loyola. I didn't even know, but it is a play for me today as well. I am on Loyola -7. All good things must come to an end, gentlemen. And today, the Oregon State run will come to an end. You can punch that ticket for Loyola into the Elite Eight, and they will cover the spread today at -7.
Yeah, I of all the plays out there, I think this one is the most obvious. And sometimes, in my 26 years of experience, when it's been the most obvious, like Florida against Oral Roberts, and Florida, I thought was going to crush them. Sometimes it doesn't work out, but it's one play out of many, many, many. They actually told me.
John, where are the betting flows in that game right now?
I'm gonna pull that up right now.
I feel like everyone is like falling in love with this Oregon State basketball team, and sometimes even a blind squirrel finds a nut from time to time, right? So I don't get what all the love is for Oregon State here in this matchup. I think Loyola matches up very well against them, and I just don't see Oregon State being able to keep up with Loyola's shooting and efficiency. And yeah, I see a 20-point victory, minimum 15 points here today.
Yeah, it's overwhelmingly the public is on Oregon State, approaching 80% of the tickets. Yet the line has opened at 7 and it stayed at 7. It was at 7.5 yesterday for, I guess, late in the afternoon, but now we're back down at 7. And we all know what that means. When you have that much money, that many tickets, 78% of the tickets, and the line doesn't move, that means there must be bigger bets being made on Loyola. Plain and simple.
Yep.
Now,
fellow odds also says he loves Loyola today. The 3-point barrage has to stop. I couldn't agree more. I think that this is a great spot for Loyola today, and I'm going to be playing this for about 2 or 3 units. I haven't made up my mind, but most likely 3.
Yeah, it's yeah. Let's move on to another one that isn't so certain, I guess, but Syracuse is playing Houston. That line opened at 6.5. It is now feels like it's going to go to 6, but most of the places are still 6.5. Pinnacle 6.5, -104 VIG. South Point in Vegas is -6 flat. Total 140 on the open, 141 now. This is a game where I know Houston's the better team on paper. Absolutely, there's no question. But in reviewing this last night, I was looking at that 2-3 defense and reading some articles about how a 2-3 defense actually is supposed to work, not just at Syracuse, but even at the high school level. And to attack a 2-3 zone, you have to have a guy in the post that poses a threat to score. And it doesn't have to be like an Elijah Wan type of guy, from past NCAA runs, but it does have to be somebody that has to be truly respected. In other words, you just don't let a guy in the post to sit there with the ball, knowing that he's going to throw it back out to the perimeter, because that doesn't do anything. And lo and behold, Houston does not have that post presence, which. And I was wondering all week, why is this line not at 8? Why is it not at 9? Houston, is clearly the better team. But I just wouldn't be surprised here that this is one of the upsets. And that's kind of what my feel is right now. Whether I go to the window with it or not, I don't know yet. But maybe you can convince me one side or the other.
Yeah, I wouldn't be betting Houston in this matchup. It's probably a game that I'm going to lay off unless I have a couple of whiskey and Cokes and it's 10 o'clock on the East Coast and I feel like getting some action down. Then I probably will play Syracuse in a very small fashion just to have a little bit of fun. But it's really just a fun bet for me if I do make it on Syracuse. What I do like in this game is I'm still looking at it. I haven't made a final decision here yet on the total, but it looks like an under for me, 141. Listen, if Houston does have a good defense, in my opinion, based on what I've seen in this tournament, and if they can limit Syracuse's easy baskets and open 3-point attempts, I think that this game's going to go fly under the radar and fly under the total here. Especially Houston, like you said, doesn't have that big presence, right? And I wasn't super impressed with their victory against Cleveland State. I was on them. I had them -20, -20.5. I had 3 or 4 units on that game, I believe. And I was not happy with the performance by Houston whatsoever. So for me, it is is most likely going to be an under the total of 141 here in this game. Any thoughts for you on the total?
Well, the one total I will play probably is under the Houston team total of 73.5.
That's actually a better angle. I like that angle a lot.
I think I might be onto something. That if you think Syracuse is going to win, that probably goes along with it. And I may actually use that as my pre-game or pre-flop bet. 50% of my normal 4% play. So I do 3%, 4%, 5%. So you have a 10 grand bankroll, it would be 300, 400, 500. So I think, half of a 4% pre-flop under Houston 73.5 makes an awful lot of sense. And then add in-game live betting anytime Syracuse is double digits. So if Houston gets out to a quick start and all of a sudden you see Syracuse at 11, I think that's a really, really good opportunity.
Yeah, I'll probably talk about it a million times together, right? Live betting opportunity is the way to go. So I'll probably do the same thing with you here. I was definitely very committed to the under here. Not completely sold, but committed. And I do like that angle of Houston under the team total. So I'll probably play, small, probably 10% under the team total, Houston 10% under the total in the game, and then wait and see if I find a good in-game opportunity, with a couple Jack Daniels and Jack. Actually, I won't even be able to watch the game, so never mind. I'm going to put 10% down, and be done with it. It's actually Passover tonight, and I'll be busy doing Passover things.
That is completely understandable and admirable.
I'll be eating some matzah and some brisket and drinking some wine.
That's too bad.
Yeah. Listen, sometimes you just got to do it, sometimes when in Rome. So Passover, it is what it is. It's falling out at a very, inconvenient time for sports betting, especially for some in-game opportunities. But I will be playing under the total for small and under the team total as well. We do have a comment in the chat here. Nathan W says, any thoughts on the Baylor game today?
Well, that's the next one we're going to.
Yeah, we talked about this yesterday, and I think you're on the same side as me here in this game. Baylor, to me, is not – I think 8 points is just too many here. I like Villanova. I think they have the better coaching advantage. I think that they're the type of team that plays with more heart than a Baylor. You look at smaller schools. Villanova's not necessarily a smaller school, but they don't get the accolades that the other schools do. They remind me of playing with heart, just like a Butler or a Creighton or teams like that. For me, it's a Villanova play. I've already locked it in at +8. I've played this for 2 units. So there you go. I don't know if that's going to win, but I do like it, and I will be looking for some in-game opportunities here. It will be right before my matzah meal with the family and friends, so I will definitely be watching the first half and seeing if there's an opportunity in-game in this one.
Yeah, I like the side. I also like I was trying to find a prop bet on the Villanova freshman who I think he was ranked 16th in the nation last year as the 16th best high school basketball player. Actually, probably would have been 2 years ago because I believe he was redshirt. I'm not sure on that part, though, but it doesn't really matter. But he's taken on the bulk of Gillespie's minutes based on what I see in the box score. And this kid can play. That's what I was saying before, that you have Gillespie go out, the season's over. Well, it really isn't, because Jay Wright is a guy that a lot of kids want to go play for. And, he's a legend. He's an absolute legend. He's a genius. He, does in-game adjustments probably better than anybody over the last 20 years. And, of course, there's other coaches that probably are his equal, but I don't see anybody that's better in a situation like this. And he's had plenty of time to prepare for it. Baylor's very aggressive on defense. And he has a history of being able to exploit that. and that's how Baylor gets their fast breaks. They overplay angles, they overplay passing zones, passing lanes, and Villanova is still a 4-guard offense. They've been like that for many, many years. And I think they match up well against them. And this freshman is his last name is Antoine. I think I'm pronouncing that right. So look him up. And if you see any prop bets on his points scored, I would hammer the over. I'm on MGM now, but I don't see anything, unfortunately. But if his over under for points is single digits, like say 9, that would be a 4% bet for me if that occurs.
I do want to point out one thing about the golf real quick.
Okay.
Now, listen, I'm on Matt Kuchar today to take down Jordan Spieth. It's not looking great, although Matt Kuchar just hit a phenomenal shot on 11 here that looks like he should win the hole. But if Spieth wins today, I think he wins the tournament. I think it's between him and Scheffler right now. I'm just making even though I'm rooting for Fleetwood. I have Fleetwood at 40-1. Spieth looks like Spieth and Scheffler are playing unbelievable today.
It's a good point. As you know, I'm on Fleetwood, and that's the only one I took. No, that's not true. Paul Casey, who did not make the cut, and we were talking about the DraftKings stuff, and I don't understand how that works, so I can't comment on that part of it.
Yeah, I had Fleetwood and Fitzpatrick, Matthew Fitzpatrick. So I still have one live guy going at 40-1, so we'll see what happens there. Anyways, moving on, I digress. Last game of the day that we haven't talked about, Oral Roberts, Arkansas minus 11.5, over under 157. John, it's interesting. We talked about this Oral Roberts team. They can shoot the 3 ball. I'm looking at potentially playing the over here, and it might be a sucker's bet. But with all the 3-point opportunities that Oral Roberts is going to have, you can't bet the under. you just can't bet it. You'll have a heart attack. So for me, I spoke about how I liked Oral Roberts. I haven't made it to the window yet. I haven't made it to the window on this game. Stay tuned. I might have something later in this one, but yeah, I'm still debating whether or not Oral Roberts is where I'm going with it. And over 157 looks interesting. Do you have the betting flows for the over in that game, or is everybody and their mother on the over in this one?
Let me see here.
Because then I really won't like it.
Let me get back to the regular game. Here we go. It's quite interesting. 58% of the tickets are betting under. However, 60% of the money is on the over. So that's one of our crossovers, as we like to call it, and that's bullish for the over.
Okay, I am leaning over in this one, just based on the opportunities. It's kind of like in a hockey game, right? I'm not going to bet an under if I know there's going to be 80 shots on goal between the two teams. It's just I won't be able to stomach it, right? So for me, over looks like a decent play here. Haven't made it to the window as we talked about, but that is one thing I would look for in this game. And that wraps up the Saturday slate here for college basketball. You want to talk about Sunday's games real quick?
Sure. We could do. You won't be available tomorrow, I don't think, right?
Probably not, because I'm going to be with family tonight, and then it's like kind of be with.
Let's pick out your 2 favorite, or if you only have one, that's fine too. Whatever one you want to make that you really feel strong about, that you could possibly say is a best bet for the show.
Yeah, I think best bet for tomorrow night would be the USC money line minus 130. Probably don't want to lay the 2. I have a rule of thumb. It's my own personal thing. It's not for everybody, but in basketball, I hate laying more than on a money line. I hate laying more than minus 135. And I also hate laying more than 2.5 if I can get it under 130. So I'm going to lay minus 130 with the Trojans. I think they're far superior on both sides of the ball. They have a lot more talent. And, we spoke about this yesterday, even though Dana Altman gets all this credit and he's a fantastic coach, Enfield for USC is a great coach as well. And you got the Mobley brothers and the sharpshooter out there on the perimeter for USC. That just the talent level isn't there for Oregon. And I think that USC easily wins this game tomorrow night.
I just thought of something too. This is from the show yesterday with Tony Finn and Rob Vino. Tony Finn, if you don't know the name, he's the all-time leading moneymaker at wagertalk.com, and that's really saying something. When you see the names that are on that site and the ones that have been there, it's an amazing feat. So I promote him because he bet the over in the Creighton Gonzaga game. He also bet the over in the Arkansas Oral Roberts game, the two highest posted totals, and he really liked the over in both games.
Well, I'm glad that I like the over in that Arkansas game now.
Yep, and my best bet for the show would be the over in the Creighton Gonzaga game, and every matchup you look at favors Gonzaga. I think Gonzaga is probably going to score, at least 87 points, and when they do, they're near perfect on the over the last 3 seasons, and I think they are perfect. They are 8-0 this year when scoring 87 or more. So it's kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy. But after all, Creighton is one of the best efficient offensive and high-powered scoring teams we've seen in the last 20 years. And there's no reason to think that they're going to regress. If anything, it looks like they're getting better. But I do hope that, we get to see Gonzaga play Alabama in the semifinal, because I think that could be like one of the most entertaining games you could ever want.
Yeah, and speaking of the Alabama game, that's another bet that I'm kind of almost on board with. I'm trying to get comfortable with laying 7 here with Alabama, and I think I'm getting there. Listen, again, as we always say, we said it earlier in the show with Oregon State, all good things must come to an end. UCLA has been fantastic. They've been on fire. Cronin's had good game plans. Listen, I was on UCLA in the first game, and they looked horrible, and they ended up pulling it out and getting the victory over Michigan State, and they've been on a run since. But here, I love Alabama. They're both efficient on both sides of the ball, offense and defense. I think this defense is going to come down and lock UCLA up. And I think this is a really good opportunity. And if you think about it, if you just think about it outside the box a little bit, you got to wonder why Alabama is a 7-point favorite with the way UCLA has been playing. And that tells you something. And for me, I think this line goes up rather than down. I think that you should lock in Alabama here at -7 against the UCLA Bruins. Any thoughts for you on that game?
I would agree with that strategy. Absolutely. 100%. I definitely lean on Alabama. I haven't decided. I'll decide tomorrow morning if I'm going to take it to the window or not. But it's Alabama or no bet.
Exactly.
That much I can definitely be sure of.
That's where I'm at. It's Alabama or pass for me.
Yep.
And then just going to throw this out there, Florida State money line, just small little lean.
Yeah, there's one of the guys at Wager Talk was saying to Tony Finn, or no, it was Rob Vino told him that Rob is kind of leaning Michigan a little bit. And he found out that in Vegas, his name is Teddy Covers. He's one of the big hosts on their shows. And I'm hearing this secondhand, but I'm sure it is true that he went around town and nobody was taking Michigan in terms of the smart money. So that's kind of powerful stuff to know too. Whether it helps you win a ticket or not on one game, it's worth knowing that there's some pretty big professional smart bettors that are backing Florida State with confidence. And I think this is the game where Michigan's going to miss slivers.
I agree 100%. So I'm glad I'm on the same side as the Sharpies there.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to wake up tomorrow and see this game. It could go all the way to pick 'em. If it picks up some steam here. So if you like Florida State, obviously you better get to the window pretty quick. I wouldn't wait around.
I think they're
It's
going
certainly not. It's not going to go back to 3. That's for sure.
No, I think they're going to miss Livers tremendously tomorrow as well. Do we have time for some hockey plays today?
Yeah. Let's do that for. Let's see what time it is here. Yeah, it's 6 minutes. How's that?
6 minutes works for me. I can run through them real quick. You ready?
Yep.
All right, quick hitters. All right, let's just go through all the games. So there's a lot of them. Okay, so I might not go through all the games, but let me go through a couple of the early games real quick, and then I'll just kind of cherry pick a little later in the daytime as well, in the evening as well, because I will not be available this evening. First game up on the board: Rangers -130 against the Flyers. Over under 6.5. Sorry, there was like a little fly in my face. Don't know where that came from. I really don't see how Philly gets right here, but I probably will not be betting on a team in this one. Even though Philly has been struggling from a goal. I used to play goalie when I was 11 and 12, and I think I could stop more pucks than Carter Hart and Brian Elliott right now. But but there's always a
but. Last game was something.
The last few games for Philly is something. It's an overfest, and I am going contrarian. I don't know what the betting flows are, but I'm going contrarian and opposite as to what has been happening in the Philadelphia Flyers games over the last 2 weeks, and I'm going to be on the under today, under 6.5, -120, and that is, you got to have some brass balls for that one, John. We got Shesterkin versus Elliott, but man, this Philly team gives up a lot of goals, so bet it with caution and maybe get some mimosas out early in the day and start drinking, because this is going to be a nail biter. It's going to come down to the last period, I believe, and I'm going under the total 6.5, -120 in that game. Next game up on the board, we got the Buffalo Sabres against the Boston Bruins. Bruins are a whopping $3 plus favorite in this game. They will be starting Dan Vladar, who is 1-0 with a 1 goals against, and don't have a lot of info on that guy, against Linus Ullmark, who has a 244 and a 92% save percentage. I think this is a game where you could potentially, and I probably will not bet it, but if you wanted to throw in a crazy little fun $5 bet or $1 bet or whatever, and mix in the Sabres on the money line at +255, it could be a good look here with Vladar in net for the Boston Bruins. It is an opportunity where I think at -315, you just cannot bet the Bruins here in this one. Next game up on the board I'm seeing is the Vegas Golden Knights against the Avalanche. And you're going to have, it looks like projected right now, I don't have confirmed goalies, but you have Robin Lehner in net for the Knights against Grubauer for the Avalanche. And as everyone knows, if you've heard me on the show before, Robin Lehner is my favorite goalie in the National Hockey League. And at +165, I will take a stab if Lehner's in net. If it is Marc-Andre Fleury, please lay off the game. Do not like it if Fleury's in net for the Knights. I like Lehner and the Knights today if Lehner's starting at +165. Let's move on to, and this is actually an interesting matchup, but I'm not going to bet it, so let's just skip that one. And the only other game that really screams out to me, actually, let's look at the Lightning versus the Carolina Hurricanes. Lightning short road favorite -120. If Vasilevsky isn't today, I'm going to be all over the Lightning here in this one. I know Carolina is going to be starting Reimer, not necessarily the goalie that I'd want to see if I was backing the Hurricanes today against this Tampa Bay high-powered offense. I'll lay the short price with the road favorite here in this one with Tampa Bay. And I've been buying against Tampa Bay last couple of weekends, actually. I believe last weekend with the Florida Panthers. So I'm not afraid to bet on the team playing the Lightning. Don't get me wrong. I am definitely not afraid of it. But here in this one, if Vasilevsky's in goal, I think I got to be with the Lightning here today. And then, wow, this is going to be a fun game. I wish I could watch it. I might record it and watch it later. But Oilers, Maple Leafs, Mike Smith in goal against Frederik Andersen. It looks like this is a no this is a no bet for me, most likely. If I was going to bet it, it would be with the dog, with the Oilers at plus 135, but it's probably a game that I'm going to lay off of. And then a little nightcap, if you will. We got the, we'll just go to the nightcap game. We got the Jets versus the Flames, and you're going to have Brissot versus Rittich, it looks like. You know, last night we were all over the Jets, right? We had a nice little I had a 4 units, sorry, on the Winnipeg Jets last night, and it was actually, I don't know, you saw the game, you probably didn't because it was up. I used to stay up late for that one, but I was up watching the game. It was a very weird ending, John. I don't know if you saw the ending. Did you?
I just saw the ending being 3-2.
No,
so
very weird.
I didn't see it.
Super weird ending. Third period starts. Calgary cuts the lead from 2-0 to 2-1. And then Winnipeg, Calgary takes a double penalty. Same player takes a double penalty, gets 2 penalties, 4 minutes with 8 minutes to go in the game. And then the Jets score, make it 3-1. And then right after 3-1, the Calgary Flames pull the goalie, cut it to 3-2 with 2 minutes to go in the game. And then on the ensuing faceoff after the goal, the Winnipeg Jets take a penalty. And now it's 6-on-4 with like 1:40 left in the game. It was so wild. Just a dumb penalty at center ice by the Jets. He tripped one of the Calgary Flames. And now they get to pull the goalie and go 6-on-4. It was a wild, wild ending, but it was a lot of fun. But yeah, tonight you probably got to back the Flames here tonight at minus 125 is kind of where I would lean in that one.
Yeah.
And then what? You agree with me?
Yep.
Yeah, that's a game you probably have to go that way, I think. And then you know, this. I do like this Blackhawks team. So if you want to lay minus 115 with Lankinen in goal, I love this goalie. I mean, this guy's phenomenal. He's really something else. He's really filled the shoes that Robin Leonard left behind when he went and got traded to the Golden Knights. But that would be a lean for me. May not be a play. Haven't made it to the window on that one. And then the last game of the night with the Jets game and the Flames game, where we're going to be back in the Flames at minus 125. You got the San Jose Sharks against the Arizona Coyotes. We were right last night with over 5.5. We were wrong with the Sharks on the minus 110 to win the game, but profitable evening as well yesterday. This is a game where I would probably look to the Sharks again here. They looked horrible last night. I think they might get it right tonight. And I think Devin Dubnyk is a better goaltender than Adin Hill, even though Adin Hill looked fantastic last night. If Dubnyk's in goal, listen, Martin Jones looked horrible. Looked like his regular old Martin Jones self. You never know where you're going to get. So I think the Sharks could be a good look here tonight. Haven't made it to the window, obviously. Still super early in the day. But those are my my rundown and my thoughts on the National Hockey League today. If Leonard's in goal, plus 165 is definitely a favorite one for me. And a under 6.5 in the Rangers Flyers. And the Lightning at minus 120 would be my top 3 picks for this slate. And then my last 4th pick for the slate would be the Calgary Flames minus 125. So there's four picks that I will be getting down on today. And then obviously, if you listen to the show, you heard my leans in every other game as well.
What was the first team you said that was dependent on the goalie?
The Vegas Golden Knights plus 165. Right. If Robin Lerner's in net. If he's not, I'm not making it to the window. We're going to have a good sweat starting in about 30 minutes from now. The under 6.5 in the Flyers Rangers game. So lock that in. Let's have maybe we got to start drinking early today.
Whatever it takes to get through it.
Exactly.
I'm going to watch that game, but everybody and their brother's betting the over.
That's why we got to go the opposite way. You cannot do what everyone else is doing in this thing. If you do what everyone else is doing in this game, you will not be successful. I promise you. You got to have a contrarian style. You got to play contrarian. And if you don't, you will be the hydrant more often than not.
Yep. And for those that just heard that for the first time, you want to be the dog more than you want to be the hydrant. And
absolutely.
Plus, hydrants don't get to go anywhere. They just stay in the same spot. Pretty boring existence, if you ask me. It was a little funny.
Absolutely. John,
Look,
let's start it off. Let's start it off today nicely with an under 6.5, with
yep,
a little bit of Rangers game.
And then go Loyola. And I'm
we-
sure Sister Jean
we're on-
will usher up a great prayer.
We're on Loyola. And recap the college basketball real quick. We're on Loyola -7, Villanova +8.
And then the two overs.
Over 157 and under in the Houston team total.
Right. Yep. And then I like the over in the Gonzaga game against Creighton.
And Florida State
that could
tomorrow.
be a real track meet.
Yep, and Florida State tomorrow.
Yep. Awesome.
And US. All right, fight on.
You got it, man.
Probably won't be able to make it on tomorrow since it's the holiday, but I'll see you next week for sure.
You got it, man. And for Ira and myself, thanks everyone for watching. I do have a 5%er. I almost forgot to mention this. I don't like doing sales promotions, but
go get the 5%er. Get the 5%er.
It's normally $50, and in my trying to be generous, it's only $19 at sportsmemo.com. You just go to my profile page and get it. They told me over the last 777 NBA and college basketball plays dating back to the beginning of 2018, I've hit 57.5%. Don't fall prey to the people that are doing YouTube shows saying they're hitting 75%. That might be true, but it's only for a week. The long-term trends are what matters, and that's why I've been doing this for 26 years. I really love the play. I can't promise you that it's going to win, but I wouldn't put it out as a 5% if I wasn't playing it the same way with my own money as you will be later. So it's $19, sportsmemo.com, and it comes guaranteed too, by the way. So it's a good opportunity in my humble opinion. So I hope you all get over there and take advantage of it. So for myself and Ira and the Predictive Playbook, may all the wins be yours.